In the last session, we discussed regarding 3 transistor and 1 transistor dynamic memory. We'll continue with the discussion. This is a NMOS pseudo-static RAM cell. So as it is a RAM, we can write the data as well as we can read the data. Both the operations can be performed. Okay, here you can see 2 pass transistor. The gate input for this is write into phi 1, and you have one more transistor and the gate input for that is read into phi 1. So write into phi 1, it is given to a transistor that is used for performing the write operation, and read into phi 1. This gate input is given to a transistor that is used for read operation. Okay, so writing means we are writing into the inverter, reading means we are reading from the inverter. And here you can find 2 inverters. From the output of the first inverter we get the complementary output, and from the output of the second inverter we get a non-complementary output. And one more transistor, it is connected as a feedback. This is used for periodic refreshing the data. Let us discuss the read and write operation separately. So here, to perform write operation, so write into phi 1, this control input has to be 1. When it is 1, the first transistor, it turns on. So whatever is there in the bus, okay, that is passed, and it is stored as gate capacitance in the first inverter. So here you can say the input is stored as it is. Here in the second inverter it is stored as gate capacitance, and now you see that the input is stored in complementary form as gate capacitance in the second inverter, and the output is fetched. This is regarding the write operation. So write operation, so you need to remember that write into phi 1, it has to be made 1, and it is stored as it is as in the gate capacitance of the first inverter, and it is stored in complementary form as gate capacitance in the second inverter. Now let us see how to perform read operation. So reading means you will be fetching from the inverter and it will be put into the bus. For performing read operation, read into phi 1, this control input has to be 1. When it is 1, the transistor turns on and the non-complementary output is passed into the bus. So here you can see that you can fetch the complementary output as well as the non-complementary output. From the first inverter you get the output in complementary form, and from the second inverter you get the output in the non-complementary form. Okay, and here you can see one more transistor, it is connected as a feedback. So data has to be periodically refreshed so that the data is retained for a longer duration. So this is achieved by making phi 2 is equal to 1. Okay, let us look into the explanation. Phi 1 and phi 2, they are mutually exclusive clock signals. That means they are not same, and they are not applied at the same time. Read and write, they are also mutually exclusive. Read control input is for reading the data, and write control input is for writing the data, and the signal coincides with the phi 1 signal. When phi 1 is high and write is equal to 1, the transistor T1 is turned on. The data is charged and it is stored as gate capacitance on CG of the inverter. This is write operation. When phi 1 is high and read is equal to 1, transistor and the data stored at the inverter stage is made available at the output. So the output obtained is in complementary form and non-complementary form. When phi 2 is equal to 1, transistor T3 is on, that is the feedback transistor. So it has to be periodically refreshed. The gated feedback path from the output of the transistor, that is T2, is fed to the input of T1, and the bit will be stored as long as phi 2 is applied, and this time is lesser than the decay time of the stored charged bit. Okay, this is how write and read operation is carried out. So this is the stick diagram for the circuit that is shown. A slight variation is done in the previous circuit, that is CMOS pseudostatic RAM cell, whereas the previous circuit is NMOS pseudostatic RAM cell. There it is called as NMOS because we are just using NMOS. Okay, that is for read and write operation. We are just using a pass transistor, but we know the problem with the pass transistor. Okay, so NMOS, it is a strong passer of 0 and a weak passer of 1. So 1 is always degraded. To avoid that, we can make use of a transmission gate instead of just using a NMOS. So here you can see that when read into phi 1, that is for write operation, when write into phi 1 is equal to 1. So here we know that in a transmission gate there is a NMOS as well as a PMOS. When write into phi 1 is equal to 1, the transmission gate, the first transmission gate turns on, because write into phi 1 bar, it is equal to 0. So in a transmission gate, which is a combination of NMOS and PMOS, both are turned on, and whatever is there in the bus, that will be stored as gate capacitance in the first as well as the second inverter. So in the first inverter it is stored as it is, and it is stored in complementary form as gate capacitance in the second inverter. Let us see how read operation is carried out. To perform read operation, read into phi 1, this control input is 1. When it is 1, the second transmission gate is turned on. Okay, so there the data is read. Okay, so that means the data is stored into the bus, and like the previous circuit, here also we can get the output in complementary form as well as the non-complementary form. Okay, and here you find a transmission gate that is connected as a feedback. In the previous circuit NMOS was used, but here a transmission gate is used, and for the transmission gate, for periodically refreshing the data, the control gate input phi 2 has to be applied. So the output is given as the input. This is used for periodically refreshing the data. So let us look into the write operation. For write operation, write into phi 1 is equal to 1. Hence write into phi 1 whole bar is equal to 0. The transmission gate is turned on. The bit is stored as gate capacitance in the first inverter as it is, and in the second inverter in the complementary form. And for read operation, read into phi 1 is equal to 1. That means read into phi 1 bar is equal to 0. So the transmission gate is turned on, the bit is stored as gate capacitance. the output of the first inverter is in complementary form and the non-complementary output is obtained from the second inverter, and phi 2 is used for periodic refreshing of data. So here you can look into the circuit of NMOS pseudostatic memory cell and CMOS pseudostatic memory cell. The only difference is in CMOS pseudostatic memory cell we use a transmission gate instead of NMOS, that is used in NMOS pseudostatic RAM cell. So here you can see this is a stick diagram for CMOS pseudostatic memory cell. You find VDD line, VSS line, and there is a demarcation line. Above the demarcation line you have P MOSFETs, and below the demarcation line you have N MOSFETs. And you find the control inputs, that is for write operation, write into phi 1 and write into phi 1 whole bar is used, and read into phi 1 and read into phi 1 whole bar, it is used for read operation, and for periodic refreshing the data phi 2 and phi 2 bar is used. And you know that whenever a polysilicon layer crosses diffusion layer, a transistor is formed. So next, this is a structure of CMOS pseudostatic D flip-flop. Okay, so here you find a D flip-flop. In a flip-flop, you know the function of a flip-flop. It is used for storing 1-bit data. So Q and Q bar, they are the two outputs. Q will be in Q will be non-complementary form and Q bar will be in complementary form. And we know in a D flip-flop, if the input is 1, then the output is 1. If the input is 0, then the output is 0. Okay, so let us see how it works. Okay, so in order to store the data, load into phi 1. This control input has to be 1. When it is 1, load into phi 1 whole bar, it is equal to 0. That is, the transmission gate is enabled. So we know that in a transmission gate there is a NMOS as well as a PMOS. Okay, both turns on and the output will be same as the input, and the bit is stored in non-complementary form as gate capacitance in the first inverter, and it is stored in complementary form as gate capacitance in the second inverter. Okay. Now how read operation is carried out? See here, the two lines Q and Q bar is connected. From Q bar you get the complementary output, that is, suppose 1 is the input, you get 0 as the output. If 0 is the input, you get 1 as the output. And in Q you get non-complementary output, that means if input is 1, output is 1. If input is 0, output is 0. Then you find a transmission gate that is connected as a feedback. This is used for periodically refreshing the data that is stored as gate capacitance. Okay, for this the condition is load bar into phi 2. See here, we are using a single control input. You don't have read and write separately. It is load what we are using. So for periodically refreshing the data, lead bar into phi 2, it has to be 1. So lead bar into phi 2 whole bar, this is equal to 0, right? So what happens? The transmission gate will be enabled, right? So what happens? The gate capacitance will be periodically refreshed. Answer the following assignment questions. These topics were discussed today. With a need diagram, explain the NMOS pseudostatic memory cell. You need to explain the read and write operation also. And with the need diagram, explain CMOS pseudostatic memory cell. Explain the read and write operation. With the need diagram, explain CMOS pseudostatic D flip-flop. Okay, thank you.